Hello, lovely humans. I'm Luna Robbie, and you are listening to Sex Stories, a podcast of personal histories where we learn from each other and practice deep, non judgmental listening in order to co create a more loving world. If you want to express your love for this show, you can find ad free episodes on Patreon, get personal with me on OnlyFans, sign up to be a guest, and check out the awesome brands to support our show. Links are in the description below or visit sexstoriespodcast.com. Now, please enjoy this episode. Today is a super duper special episode. I am with Kathy K of Strictly Anonymous. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
This episode is super exciting because can I tell them about the dream I had that inspired it on my end? I don't think this is your reason for saying it.
Oh my God, hilarious. Sure.
I had a dream that Kathy and I were doing a Q&A episode, but since she's no face in our episode, she was like an emoji. She was, I think, a shark, a dragon, and I think you were a unicorn. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's in iPhones. You can make yourself talk like an animated creature. And so we were doing an episode and you were a shark and a dragon and a unicorn.
I could see why of all those things in your brain.
Yep.
Because I'm the elusive unicorn because I'm anonymous. And sometimes I could be a bitch. So I'm a shark and, and a dragon.
Very powerful.
You know what I'm saying?
So I feel like the texture between us, like we talk all the time. We're good friends and also like love talking about sex. So I thought it'd be funny for us to answer our listener questions together back and forth.
For sure.
Okay, this is actually two questions on the same topic though. So I'm going to just read them back to back. And then after the second one, I want to hear your thoughts. So this is about dating. I got a question that says, newly single male interested in meeting a woman open to dating and sex clubs, help. That's from C. And then same theme, but slightly different. I'm 36 and newly single after a 12-year relationship where we barely had sex, and I didn't have much experience even before then. I feel so inexperienced and anxious now. How do I start exploring without feeling like everyone knows more than me?
Oh my God. Those are two ends of the spectrum. Is one a woman and one a man? Because I feel like we could put them together and they could help each other out.
I know, right? The first one is definitely a dude. The second one, it is unclear. It's a gender neutral name, so I don't know.
So one person has zero, like one person wants to have an open relationship and have fun outside of the box with a partner. And the other person is nervous that they don't have enough experience.
I mean, the first person didn't give very much detail, just newly single male. They're both newly single, so that's the common thread. Interested in meeting a woman, open to dating and sex clubs, help. I mean, that's pretty broad. I think they got to get more specific there.
No, that's easy. No. It's not a broad one. It's just you know what his question is? His question is like, how does he meet somebody that will enter into the lifestyle? Like, right? Like this is his first time being single. This time around, he wants to meet a woman that's going to go to swingers clubs with him. And like, listen, you're not going to go on Match.com or eHarmony or even Raya if you have that in mind. But there are certainly apps out there that you could go on that are specifically geared to that. And I think the smartest thing to do is like put that in your effing bio, weed out the nonsense and all the girls that are not going to be interested. And, you're going to be left with the ones that are. The other option I would say, this is the other easy answer, is go to a sex club solo. Now, a lot of times single guys are like a big fat no, but a lot of times most places are open to them and they have certain different nights that single guys are allowed. And if you go to a swingers club alone, I know many women that do it. You could do it. I know plenty of guys that do it. Go alone, and there's going to be some single women there too, and so you're going to be fishing out of a pond full of people that are into what you're into because you're already there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my two things to do.
And I would say also if this person is in a locale where there are like FetLife meetups, oftentimes getting to know people outside of a sexy space before going into a sexy space is good. And also for me with single people at sex parties, it's like have something to offer, go there being of service rather than like having a need to fill because I feel like it gets a little succubus-like. And if that's the kink that someone's into, great. But if someone is just trying to be a regular person and there's a dude there being like, can I touch you? I'm usually like, go visit me at the ranch, so.
No, but this guy sounds like he's looking for a relationship. So I don't think he's going to, he didn't say like, where do I meet girls that want to have an orgy and gangbang the first time I meet them? He's looking for a partner. So I think he's not going to be dumb and go into there and, try and, bang a girl when he first starts talking to him. But like, to me, that's a place where you could become friends and, get a number and then start dating somebody, like don't get in on the action right away.
Yeah. I mean,
but
hopefully.
I do think meetups are great, like you said. And then there's just like so many apps where you could go on. And I know for a fact that there are single women on those apps because they call into my show. And I have a code for SDC 37712. You could sign up for free. And I know tons of single women join that app because they're looking to get into the lifestyle and stuff like that. So there's people out there. And I don't know how old this person is, but I think the younger generation are so much more open-minded and are trying these kinds of things out. So you have a good chance of finding someone, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the old folks aren't. Okay. I know plenty that second, third marriage, they are like, having gangbangs and orgies galore, till they hit the grave. Like they're living their life finally.
Well, I have no idea how
So
old
it's
this
never
person
too
is.
late. I say just jump in the pond. Yeah.
Totally.
But I mean, I think that there's so many options nowadays because there are apps that are, specific for the lifestyle. But I just know a lot of people that went to Club Solo and met partners. I have this place where you could go, and I vetted this site, and so many of my listeners love it and think it's great. So I'm
No, I know.
literally offering people a free
I
site to
have
go
an
to.
SDC code too, but I don't know what it is.
Kimberly here. Go to sdc.com and use promo code 37767. That's promo code 37767.
I've gotten them literally probably 1,000 people or more to sign up since I've been with them.
Amazing. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of listeners of Kathy's on there. Maybe some of them are in the same city and and open to. I mean, that definitely is a place where people are more likely to mingle, and it comes down to picking the right app. And I know apps are not right for everyone, so that's why I'm like, go meet people in person and go meet people doing things that you already like to do. And so the other one, which to me is in the same category but is a different texture. I'm 36 and newly single after a 12-year relationship where we barely had sex and I didn't have much experience before then. I feel so inexperienced and anxious now. How do I start exploring again without feeling like everyone knows more than me? So I'm like, it's fine if people know more than you.
Right.
Step
Well,
one.
there's not going to be an everyone. First of all, you're not going to be dating everyone. You're going to be dating one person. Okay. So stop framing it so catastrophically. Okay. There's not going to be 100 people watching you and realizing you don't know how to give good head. Okay. You're going to be dating one person, most likely, right? That's how you're going to get back in the game. Or you're going to be dating 5 people, but it's not going to be at the same time. So you just got to get in the game. And the only way to practice is to just get with it. And I'm sorry, I just edited my episode with Susan Bratt. And you know what she's here to say? If you don't use it, you lose it is total bullshit. You could completely not have sex for 5 years. The minute you get back on, it's like riding a bike. You're going to know what to do. And if he's very inexperienced now, go for somebody a little bit younger, and there's plenty of inexperienced people out there and you start learning together. But I don't know how inexperienced this person can be really if they've lost their virginity and they were dating somebody. I mean, even if you've gone down 5 times on a girl, you know what I mean? You know what you're basically doing, and your next girl is going to help you out.
Well, I don't know if this person identifies as a male or female or something in between, but I will just push back lightly and say, as someone who
I love it. I love it's a good debate.
I mean, I have so much experience with people who have some experience and don't have experience, and I would say more than anything, it is their self-consciousness and their nervousness that gets in the way of them being present enough to have a good time, and so oftentimes I end up in a nurturing dominant role, even outside of an explicit power dynamic. But I get a lot of people that come to me that are like, I'm nervous, I'm divorced, I'm this, I'm whatever reason they have for being nervous about their sexual prowess. And when I ask them to settle into their bodies and have them breathe with me, and create a space where I'm like, try this next. I want this. And I create a framework of communication, which I have a whole episode about how I turn nervous people into sex gods. But, that helps people
No, but that's what they should listen to. You're perfect then to help this person out. Really, you have the answer for that.
I do. But also that can be created with any human they meet, as long as they're willing to be vulnerable and start with, hey, I feel like this. And then that shifts, because it's only when we latch onto the feeling and make it bigger that it sticks around. The emotional chemical process of a feeling only lasts 90 seconds. So if you get nervous, presence it. And most partners are down to help. A lot of people have hidden nervousness and they think everyone else is some genius at something. But most people I talk to are all secretly pretty riddled with anxiety right now, is what they share with me.
Right.
And I also feel like once the touch barrier is broken and 2 people feel safe and comfortable together, as long as they're not busy judging the shit out of each other, as long as they are willing to be open and vulnerable and enjoying each other, stuff usually goes pretty well. And that's why I also have a lot of communication frameworks that's like, do you like this? Give two options at a time. Do you want it harder or softer? Do you like a circle or a swipe? Like what are you enjoying? So I feel like making it a curious exploration
Yeah.
with each person is really fun.
Yeah, without having to put it on the table like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like no one knows what the fuck they're doing with each new person because each new person is different. The
Yeah.
way I like someone to go down on me is going to be totally different than the way you do. The way I want someone to, bang me out is going to be different than the way you do. So, I don't know how I'd feel if a guy, I'm like making out with a guy and all of a sudden, let's pretend it's a guy, right? And he's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and I'm really insecure. Like, I don't want that kind of honesty. That might ruin the mood. So I feel like there's a way of being quote unquote vulnerable without, looking like you have low self-esteem in the bedroom, which is not hot. So I think like, no one knows what to do with another person. Do you know what I mean? But like ask questions and communication is key. Like the reason why I always got off with every fucking guy and never not had an orgasm in my whole life is because I tell a guy exactly what the fuck to do for me. You know what I mean? And tons of times a guy is fumbling, but I don't think, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing, right? So like this guy should know that even if you're fumbling, I'm just going to think you don't know what I like. That's what a girl's going to think. She's not going to think you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So I think that, just ask, like, does this feel good? Do you want more? Like, and to go by her body and be like super intuitive and in tune. And instead of in your head worried about, oh my God, I'm not going to do a good job. Just be more into trying to take cues from the girl. Because I think both partners, men and women, give you cues of what they like and what they don't like, And I feel like sex is so animalistic in a way,
Hopefully.
right? That you almost like if you just like, but it's a matter of getting out of your head. So if you're not confident, and maybe it is like, like listening to Wyo's episode where she talks about like, the psychology of stuff that you need to go through before you get into the physical stuff, right? Because if you're in your head about it, like nothing's going to work.
Totally. I mean, it's just not very fun to do a body thing from the place of
No.
head unless you're giving head, and that's a little bit different. I will also say, though, I have met some
Yeah.
people, no one's bad at anything, right? But I certainly have encountered some partners who truly were unskilled, and I had to show them, move your hips like this, match my rhythm with yours, find your own thing, grip it like this.
Yeah.
Instead of like deathy, pokey, hard fingers, follow my body, and so it's a matter of being willing to speak the need and receive the message and practice and have fun. It's all an exploration. It's not about like getting an A+.
Yeah. And I think the longer that person sort of stays in their head thinking about it, afraid to do it, the worse it gets. You know what I mean? Like you have to I think even just a part of being vulnerable is putting yourself in the position to be with a partner, really fumble, not know what the fuck you're doing, have them react in whatever way, even worst case scenario. At the end of the day, what's going to happen? You're not going to die. That person's going to forget about you 2 days later. They're still not thinking about it. You're going to take 5 showers because you feel so embarrassed. And then you're going to like move on with your life. So you got to kind of like face your fear. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the worst case scenario.
Oh, yeah.
But the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And then you're going to push past it. Listen, there is Beducated. Beducated is one of my sponsors.
Beducated is one of my
Beducated
sponsors,
is
too.
really good.
This month, you can sign up for Beducated for just $69 a year by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting beducate.me/lover69 and use code lover69 for 65% off your yearly pass.
There you go. Beducated has real classes and they're really good. My booty call guy that goes down on me, I know for a fact, and he'll never admit it, I know for a fact like he took classes or hired a professional or something, because the way he goes down on me is like nothing I've ever experienced before. I was like, you learn this shit. You know what I mean? Like every move that I never experienced, he would do. It was like otherworldly. And you know what? Beducated has a cunnilingus class and they show you. And the thing about Beducated that's so cool is like the cunnilingus class, there are 10 moves you could do on a girl's pussy with your mouth. And they show you, like there is a guy going down on a girl's pussy in the video. That's how you learn on Beducated. So take some classes, because I know for me, like if I'm going to get up and speak in front of a lot of people, if I'm not prepared or I don't feel like I know what I'm going to say, like I'm going to fumble and fuck up and I'm going to be really nervous. But if I prepared a lot, the more I prepared, the less nervous I'm going to be. So take some Beducated classes.
Totally.
Go take some classes or get a little help. See a professional if it's legal where you're at.
And I will say beducated is the reason that I got so good at prostate and butt stuff. Like I watched all of those
There you
classes and it
go.
up-leveled my skills. And of course you do need to
Right.
exercise those skills on real humans. And that's where I follow the fun. So learn the skills and then follow the fun, stay present with your partner. And if you need help, there are ways to get help in all forms.
Yeah, and just communicate and ask your girl what she likes, or if it's a guy, like, do you like this? Do you like your ball? Because like some guys like their balls to be touched and licked and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Some guys don't. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my God,
Every
yes.
guy is like different, and you just got to ask a question.
Every single time that I do a dick check at the ranch, because we have to touch around for everything, swab, we look for any cuts, nicks,
Yeah.
scratch, anything we need to know to play safely. So that's always when I'll like tickle the balls and be like, do your balls like getting played with? And the amount of people whose answer is, I don't know, it's surprising. I'm like, what? Well, then we'll have to find
Really?
out. Yeah, there's a lot of them that are like, I don't know. I'm like, you don't know, like you've never tried, or like if they're like, oh, they're sensitive, I'm like, are they fun sensitive or are they like painful sensitive? And sometimes there's painful sensitive ones, but there's so many people that are just like, oh, I don't know, I've never really had them played with. And so I'm like, well, we'll fix that. So yeah,
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah. I think that's, I think that a lot of guys I thought all guys like their balls to be touched
Yeah.
and whatever,
No.
but turns out like not all of them do
I
at
love
all,
Do you like playing with balls? I love
Yeah.
them. They're so fun.
Yeah, and I like big, saggy,
too.
old man
Yeah,
balls.
dang,
like,
I
you know
lo-
what I mean?
I
Like, my
like to be
friends
able to
used to always make fun
Get
of
a
me.
grip. Yeah. Oh, that's rude. No, I like to be able
Yeah.
to like grab them or hold them or just, whatever I want. I like to do whatever I want with them. Okay.
I like how they feel when they're banging you. Like when they're fucking you, they flap on you. And that's
Yes.
what that's why I like the long, saggy, hanging ones. It's like an extra thing going on down there. That's what I used to like them for.
Totally agree.
But my booty call guy, he doesn't have like big balls and he doesn't really like them touched. So, it's out. But
Oh.
I'll always go for the balls. And guys will tell you like, no, or they're like, or they say, yeah, but you could just like try, and someone's going to let you, most people will let you know either through their words or through their body language what they have. And it's just a matter of staying present and really sort of focusing on the vibe of the other person,
Totally.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do you want to do the next question?
No, you could keep going. I like your questions.
This one's fun. I recently discovered I love role play by accident. I hooked up with someone who jokingly called himself Detective Daddy, and my body was like, ooh, hello, yes. But when I went to talk, I totally panicked and said, I
Oh, no.
am also a detective, then immediately apologized and froze. Luckily, he kept gently talking to me in character until I relaxed and I was able to get into it. And now I want to explore this side of myself, costumes, scenarios, everything. But when I try to initiate, I get stage fright and I start laughing. Any advice for people like me who love the idea of role play but feel ridiculous actually doing it? From S.
Oh my God. First of all, you don't even need to feel ridiculous because you already made an ass out of yourself and your guy could have cared less. Okay. You are with the perfect partner. I wish I had a partner like you because I love role play, but I feel like an asshole doing stuff. But but because she has this amazing, it's a she, right? Because she has this amazing partner that like she said the most ridiculous thing, but his dick was hard and he wasn't getting out of character and he didn't give a fuck. He stayed in character, got her on track. He's going to keep doing it. And the more you do it with him, you're not going to fuck up anymore. But this guy doesn't care if you make a fool out of yourself. So you're like, I don't know if this is your booty call or a one-off. Like that's the guy you need to keep doing it
right?
with.
That was my first thought. It's
so
unclear.
you got to keep hooking up with
I'm
him.
like, well, start
you
with
got to
this
keep hooking up
person.
with him.
Yeah, I'm like, I would just feed this person all the role plays you're interested in, add some costumes because it sounds like this person was able to get into it with the right container of a partner who was taking it seriously. Because I've like when I counsel couples who've like tried to do role play stuff, they're like, oh, I don't know, it was dumb. I don't know, we were just laughing. It's like, well, you didn't commit.
Of course.
Have you done role play stuff,
Yeah.
Kirby? You said you feel silly?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had, no. I had one guy and he was an actor, comedian guy, and he was a long-term booty call. And we would do like the landlord where I fuck my landlord. He comes over to fix something and I'd fuck him like hot stuff like that. I like it. I like the motel guy, the guy that's running the cheap motel and I fuck him like, stuff like that. We role played that kind of stuff all the time. But he was like a good actor and I felt so comfortable with him. I can't explain it. Like, how some people you just feel comfortable with certain things and other people you don't. And because he was so into it, I was able to like really get into it. But like with my guy now, I don't. And I think it's because I don't know, I don't have that relationship. So I could be shy about it, but there's nothing better than having a partner like push you through it. I think sometimes those bad couples are just like two bad people together, right? Because somebody has to be like that her guy in the scenario that doesn't giggle. You know what I mean? Like if one person's giggling, that's fine. Like so they need someone to keep them on track. I was with like a full-fledged real actor who was like a really good actor. So there was no way he was going to get out of character either. I was able to do it with him and all that. So I think it's a matter of finding that right person and doing it. And yeah, you have to meet that right concoction, because if you're both laughing, that's not good. If you're both nervous, that's not good. Somebody's got to take the lead, because when you do it, it is fucking fun. But you got to get really into it. Like you really got to commit.
I agree. And as a person who facilitates a lot of, sometimes it's not even full role play. However, it's an invitation to playfulness that can then blossom, so even just starting with a simple, like it's just like a little tone or a like bid for playful connection. And this is where, okay, hear this in a not gross way, hear this in a correct adult way, calling upon the playful parts from childhood where we would play pretend all the time. That's the skill. Like I'm a trained actor, but it doesn't matter if the other person isn't and won't play with me. And I just noticed that when they're too self-conscious to have fun, it's a bummer, but that doesn't happen with me very much. I think because I am playful by nature, and then when I invite someone into it, and I had someone visit me and they wanted to do a mailman role play, and they knocked on my door. This was at the ranch, and they knocked on the door, and I opened it, and I was like, "Oh,
it's fun.
like, well, oh, you're delivering the mail directly to me? Oh, you want to come in?" And so they're different tones, right? They're the people that are like so committed, so in character. Those are the people that if they get to a kinky BDSM power exchange, they never break their role. And then there are the people that like will giggle and go back into it. And there's a whole, and I would say a great entry point that I have heard people do, and I haven't yet tried it myself, would be, this is one of my fantasies, like, go to a bar, sit at the counter or wherever, I don't drink, but like go to wherever, somewhere, and then have that person approach you as if they're a stranger, so still being very normal and people-y, but that's kind of like a low barrier to entry, not too silly, you're not being a superhero. My first attempt when I was 22, I dressed up as a superhero for my boyfriend, and I was so ready to do a role play, and I surprised him with it as he came home because he'd like mentioned he wanted that. But we didn't role play at all. It was totally normal, other than me being like super.
What happened?
We just went straight to sex.
How did it not turn?
Because
You were wearing. You went straight to sex.
Yeah.
But while you were wearing your outfit,
he just like loved that I dressed up, and I was like, I'm the super whatever I called myself, and I was like, hello, and he just like got excited, and then we didn't do any like actual role, because we hadn't discussed it. This was early 22-year-old me that didn't know how to communicate at all. I was like just so happy to be having sex,
right?
So. And then I was like, why don't role plays work? Because I didn't understand the other person has to play back with you.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, I think there's just like a compatibility thing that happens and a chemistry thing. And sometimes you have it with someone and sometimes you don't. You're like my guy that I used to role play with. Like, you're a great partner to role play with because you have that acting thing and you could totally commit and you're into it. So if you have the giggly person that makes an ass, you're not going to give a shit at all. And you're just going to keep going like that guy that she talked about. But I think so many people that aren't are hard. And so when you get that, like I said, like that couple that you've talked about that are both giggly and both embarrassed and both shy, it's probably not going to work out. But I think role playing is so great. And I always like even recommend it to couples. Like you're talking about like going to a bar and pretending a stranger. Like a lot of couples, like where the guy really wants a hot wife and the girl is not that into it yet because she doesn't want to just go out and fuck a stranger. Like,
Yet.
I'm like, well, go to a bar, pretend you met a stranger, and then go home and pretend he's there. Like, there's so many things like role play and just talking about talking about fantasies. Like, bring this all in. You don't have to like role play a landlord and motel guy that's gonna fuck you or like a superhero, because that sometimes might be a little uncomfortable for people. You could just role play another person in your thing because you're really into the hot wifing thing or a threesome or and that's a matter of just putting your fantasies on the table and using toys and stuff to mock up that somebody else is there and bring in like like role play a scenario.
Yes.
And that works too. And that's like great for couples. I have talked to so many couples where just role playing has completely changed the game. You don't even need to go fuck the other people. You can just talk about
Yeah.
it.
But if you do want to fuck the other people, SDC is great, and we both
Yeah.
have affiliate links.
Oh.
But
Do
I
you-
also, the link is in the description below.
37712.
But the other thing is, like you said, having a scenario can be great. So if you know the shape of the scene, it releases the pressure from needing to improv in a larger way, and then you get to say the words and you kind of know the shape of it. And the other thing is, I don't know if this person is going to be able to connect with this hookup buddy again or not, or if they're going to keep dating, but if that person's not available, say you don't have a partner yet, or you're kind of like in this exploratory phase, or maybe the hookup buddy's a travel friend, who knows, but improv classes, finding fun other ways to play, finding fun other ways, or even just chatting with strangers in the world. I talk to people at the grocery store all the time, and I am increasingly hearing from other people that they're scared to even like make small stakes conversation out in the wild. And I would say, especially if you're in a larger city, it's a great place to just do humaning, and it's good for you. Releases oxytocin, makes you feel purposeful in the world, and then next thing you know, you'll
Yeah,
be
you
role
need
playing
to
with that hot
connect.
stranger you met at the grocery store. That's my fantasy.
Yeah. And listen, you meet a new guy, tell him you're into role play. I would say probably 7 out of 10 times the guy's going to be like, oh, that's fucking hot. Let's role
Yeah.
play. Like, what are you thinking?
Or-
You know what I mean? I think a lot of guys would be into it. And as long as you roll like your partner, right? When you have a new person, if you're taking the lead and you're the confident one in the role play, make sure you treat your partner the same way. Like, really ease that guy into your role play scenario, and don't laugh if he breaks character. Do what this guy did, which was don't lose that character. Don't start laughing with him. Stay in character so you could get that guy to keep
Yeah.
going. So just you bring it up to a new partner, and then roll like the guy did for you with you, because that guy was smart.
Oftentimes,
that's the person you could role play with.
If someone I'm with starts like giggling and coming out of it, I turn that into the role play. I'm like, oh my God, your laughter makes me even hornier. Like whatever it is, I just let it fuel the scene. Like I take that and like just work it
Oh,
in.
interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, you're
yeah.
laughing.
You're
Ooh,
really good.
ooh. Or make it something else.
Yeah.
Or I'll make it like, oh, I have something on my shirt. I guess you're right. I should take it off. Like whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that, I think you need to get an actor. I think this is like what you're saying. You need an actor, because like my favorite role play person was an actor. You're like professional role play scenario, and you're an actress. So I think, that really helps if it's someone creative. Some people just don't have a good imagination. No offense. I don't know. I don't think most people are. I think some people have zero fucking imagination, and that's a problem. I have asked certain guys, like, you could do anything you want. Like, let's do something totally crazy. And like, they can't even think of one thing. I have been with people that have zero imagination. I don't know if that's being uptight or they just don't have any.
I think that society,
but creative people have all of it.
Creative people are people who have worked that muscle and allowed it. I think every single human is inherently creative. Sex is our original creativity, is my personal thesis. And most people are living lives where their creative proclivities are shut down, or they've been laughed at or judged, or like, there's a reason everyone's like afraid to show their vulnerable, playful parts, because they've been shat upon so often. And so it's like when people don't have ideas, usually I think it's because they have been low-key traumatized or have been in situations where they haven't practiced thinking of ideas, and their dopamine systems are a little fucked up because the way that screens work, it messes up our system. So we don't have hope, we don't have imagination unless we practice. So because I know that when I give people permission, they meet me.
I'm sorry, if somebody started talking to me in the grocery store, like, would you just come up to me? Like, what do you mean you just start talking to people at the grocery store?
Usually people talk to me, and it's usually about. Usually about like.
Because I'm like, I'd be a little bit like irritated if someone's trying to talk to me at the grocery store.
It's usually in scenarios where it like makes sense. It's like we're like looking at apples together. They compliment my gold boots or whatever it is. There's some little bid for human connection, or even just like, oh, you go first. I only have 2 things. Like whatever it is. But I people chat with me wherever I go. I don't know, open energy field here.
Oh, no, no, no. Listen, I could just talk to the person at the deli and get their whole life story in 2 seconds, when I do it. But like, if somebody was approached me, I'd be like, I don't know, at the
Hmm.
grocery store. But yeah, okay. Do you have any other good? I
I have
like your
another good one.
questions. Actually, they're really good. Mine are like basic. Yeah. Okay.
Well, this one's perfect for us. I'm a straight guy in my 40s who always thought pegging was for other people. But after hearing you talk about prostate play, I wonder if you heard our episode. I haven't stopped thinking about it. My wife is open to trying new things, but I don't know how to bring it up without sounding like I'm springing some big new surprise kink on her. What's the smoothest, least embarrassing way to bring this up? I have many ideas. Do you want to start us off, Kathy?
You want me to, or do you want to start? I feel like I've started off
Because I'll
every
read the
one.
question
You
and then,
start
oh,
off.
okay. Well, first of all, it sounds like the wife is open to trying new things. So it sounds like maybe they already have some sort of like procedure or dialogue around it, but it also sounds like this is edging. So it's like, I would say share it in a fantasy, share it in a dream, share it in a, I heard this thing on a podcast, take the temperature of what the other person thinks about that activity. I know that
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes it's nice to when someone has like a super kinky fantasy, they're like, I had this crazy dream. What do you think? And then I also think that anchoring, like, if you want to get straight to it and not kind of like dance around, I think it's really hot when people start with like, I want to try this thing and I feel nervous about how you're going to react, or like I feel scared to share. Like for me, that leading with vulnerability oftentimes creates a space where no matter what I say, even if the other person's not into it per se, they won't laugh at me or give me a yuck response. And so, and I have many people who come to me that are like, I can't say it. And I'm like, I literally have heard so much, like you can say it. And so once that safe container is in place, they can try it. I don't know. What are your initial thoughts?
Listen, it's a hard one. I think what happens a lot of times is like, and I've heard people say this about fetishes, and this is no different because it's kind of loaded, and your girl might have a lot of questions, but you have to allow for that. And sometimes people just think, it's the movies. You're gonna say one sentence, and they're gonna agree, and you're gonna live happily ever after. And she's gonna be pegging you in 2 minutes without a question asked. Most likely that's not going to be the case. But what you have to understand, and someone said this once about a fetish, like, you've been sitting there thinking about like being pegged and what it means to you, and you've explored yourself and all of these things forever, and you're in your own mind, so you know what all of this means. But you have to understand that when you put that on the table with her, she has zero clue. If she's never heard this before, she's most likely going to ask questions. And unfortunately, I don't know why, because I'm sorry, like, my guy I've talked about goes down on me all the time, and that's what lesbians do. But just because I like my guy to go down on me and give me oral sex doesn't mean I'm a lesbian. Okay. And same thing, like it doesn't mean like if a lesbian fucks her girlfriend with a strap on, that means her girlfriend is heterosexual. Okay. She probably never wants to see a dick, but she still wants to get strap on fucked by her girlfriend. Okay. It doesn't turn her fucking straight. Just like strapping it on and fucking your husband is not going to turn him quote unquote gay. But she might think that, like, this is unfortunately something that has like this huge stigma attached to it. And I could go on and on about the stupid stigma on anal and guy on guy action and all this nonsense because it really bothers me. And it's like, so I just feel like, unfortunately, she might be like, what does that mean? Do you want a real dick? Like, do you like guys? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, it could, and you're going to have to answer all those questions. You know what I mean? Because that may come up. And a lot of times, and this is what's great about podcasts. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I'm always getting like emails from people like, oh, thank you so much. I
Oh yeah.
started getting my wife to listen to your podcast and we learned so much. And now we're doing all these things. So, like, maybe you're going to need to educate her a little bit about it, because a lot of women, including me, don't think that they would be into fucking a guy in the ass, right? Like, it's like, oh, I don't want to be the dominant one. I don't want to see you like bent over, like a lot of women are afraid of that shift in power, to see their guy in a different way, and they don't know how they feel. But I would say 9 out of 10 times when I have talked to people, and I've talked to a lot of people that have strapped it on and pegged their guy, every girl is like, even the ones that didn't think that they would like it are like, oh my God, like they got really
Yeah.
into it. Even if they started just doing it for their guy because they were cool and they're like, my guy likes it, I'm just going to do it, but I'm not that into it. Eventually they got into it. They felt like a whole different thing, even if they didn't realize that they'd wanted to be dominant or get in touch with that side of themselves. So, you might have to ease her into it. And I think sometimes educating your partner on the fact that not only is this something that you're into, but this is something that a lot of guys are. And listen, maybe it means that you want a real dick one day. Maybe it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, and she needs to know all those things. So whatever it does mean to you, you need to explain it to her, and then go share some podcast episodes and show her that there's plenty of guys out there, if you're straight, that like to get fucked in the ass by their girls, and it doesn't mean anything. Like I said, it's just not going to turn them any which way. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem. The other thing is maybe she doesn't want to be the dominant one. Most girls
Kathy,
have that
this
go
is
to
the
submissive.
third time you've said
but they
dominant, and I
shouldn't.
have to interrupt you to say pegging has nothing to do with dominance or submission. The first time I pegged a guy was
I know,
as
but
a
I think
submissive.
that, yeah.
But that's another incorrect
really?
assumption.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
literally, it's topping.
Yeah, but don't you think the average woman is going to think that though?
Kathy,
But don't you think that
if
that's what that's what women
If
feel
I knew
like?
what the average woman thought, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be married
Well, I
with
know,
a
but
white
we're talking
fence.
to average.
Like, I don't know. I'm not good at that.
No, but this person is asking you a question. This is the regular person asking you
But
this
this
question.
person's
So
asking me.
I feel
this
like the
question.
wife might see it. Okay, well, I feel like the wife might see it as being the more dominant person, and like her guy's bent over. Because typically, like, even if like you're talking about it's like a bottoming, you think the bottom is more of a sub and the top is more of
Not
the dominant.
necessarily.
So I think it's a typical, it might not be right. I'm just saying that I think a lot of women don't think that they're going to enjoy doing the pegging because that's like more the power position. And yet I find that most women say they actually fucking loved it. We both have both sides of ourselves, that in ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's really great to explore both, whether it's right or wrong. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that because I think that way, I think there's tons of people that think that way, and that could be a barrier. But most girls actually, by the way, sorry, the girls that have told me that they loved it have said that they feel very powerful.
You're
and they
talking
feel like
to one
really
right
like
now.
in control.
I'm a woman who loves it,
Right,
and
so
I
it
wear
is a more powerful position.
It's a leading position. It's fun to strap a dick on and to use it on someone, for me, whether they have a pussy or an asshole or both, like it's just it's fun to wear a dick. Like that on its own is fun. And also this person said that the wife is open-minded. So maybe she has fantasies of wanting to bring another guy in and have that kind of a threesome, but she's like, oh, I couldn't possibly ask my husband because what if he thinks that I want him to be gay? And I think also a great gateway drug to all sorts of anal play is a little finger up the butt when you're fucking. Like, it's hot, either direction, talking about it ahead of time, always using lube, always trimming the nails. But that was the gateway drug for me. Like, my first boyfriend, the one that skipped the role play and went straight to the sex, that was like the first thing that he was like, I would love to try this. And I was like, I didn't know that was an option. And when I put that little finger in, just a tiny little nub, I got such a next level zing of curiosity. It was like my gateway to being a butt slut. And so I definitely think, I think at least talking about the idea in fantasy, and like you said, answering all the questions, and a person may not know, like, oh, does this mean I want a real dick? Or they might think they know right now, and everything evolves. I think that's what I've learned, you've learned, and we've learned together over all of these years, is like our desires change depending on the season, depending on the connection, depending on the person, depending on innumerable factors. So I think there's lots of good options, and yeah, I don't think it's some big new kink surprise. I think it could be a slow simmer, and I'm open to hearing more specifics, because I'm like, it sounds like they have a dialogue, but it also sounds like there's fear. So I'm curious about the specifics that make it a question.
Yeah, because I think that there is a stigma, and he's worried that she might have all the things that might feel all the ways that we've talked about. And that's why so many guys, like I'm like, my mission in life, and everyone that listens to my show knows, and I always say this on my Butter Wellness ads, like, is to get guys into anal fucking action with themselves, with another guy. I don't care. You know what I mean? But like, and I'm always like, half the guys out there have gone to that part of their body at some point and played with it. I mean, come on. And then half the guys that don't, it's because of like the stigma. And then there's like, all the rest of the guys that are like happily admitting to it, but it's like ridiculous that there is this big stigma around it. And it's only because it's like attached to being gay or something, which is, I'm like horrified that that's even still a fucking issue, and I don't understand why anal sex or anything anal for guys gets such a bad rap. and it's unfortunately this ridiculous stigma. And some guy on Facebook, when I shared an episode about guy on guy action and why it's not available or like allowed in the lifestyle, he's like, he was like, it's not a stigma. It's that we just don't find it hot, and it's actually a turnoff, and that's why it's not allowed. And I'm just like, that's even worse than a stigma. I'm like, forget about getting stuck on words. That's even ruder to say that just because it doesn't turn you on, it shouldn't be allowed in lifestyle clubs. It's like the most ridiculous thing, And like I said, it's like, check out your asshole, okay? Me and Wyo are both 3-input girls, and you know what I mean? That's one thing we could relate to. We both know what it feels like. It's fucking great. So if you haven't gone there, try it. And if you want to tell your wife, you're just going to have to like put it out there. Maybe just start talking about fantasies, and maybe bring up like, hey, is there something that you want to try that you never tried before, and see if there's stuff that she wants to bring then to the table. And then you could say, hey, like, you know what? I was like thinking maybe I'd want to like get a toy and like play around with that part of my body. Why not?
Yeah, and talk about the health benefits of prostate massage. It's good to have blood flow everywhere.
Exactly. But be prepared to share a podcast or two. It's such a normal thing. Tons of guys like it. If, like I said, if you are straight, I have like 80,000 episodes of straight guys that would completely admit to me, if they're not, that love to be fucked in the ass by their girls. And that's just what it is. And it doesn't mean anything more than, it feels really good.
Also, as a person who often has friends seek me out for information around this, a lot of the ladies that I personally know have some version of like, wait, you do that? How do I do it? I don't know. So it's almost like you said, it requires some education if it's new to them. And also, I think that
it's very hard to do,
no,
right?
it's not hard. No, it just takes a little care.
I've heard it's hard.
No, Kathy, I look forward to the day.
Girls say that they're very...
I look forward to the day where you call me.
You're not the normal person, okay? I'm talking about all the girls that have talked to me. They say it's like a little bit weird to maneuver at first and get used to the strap on and moving it and, going back and forth and like everything. Like, I don't think you're the norm.
Okay, but
what I have heard 99% of the time is that it's not an easy thing to get used to, but then you could get used to it. But any strap on, you can't feel the dick. You don't even feel it. It's like not even attached to you. So it's like a little bit weird. I've even heard that for girls.
I don't feel the dildo, but I have also shepherded several female partners into their first strap-on experiences. And I think, I don't know, none of them struggled with it. I also don't think that saying that it's hard is very helpful. Like some people...
you had to, why were you shepherding them to begin with?
Why? Because they...
I mean, if it was so easy, they would have just did it themselves.
No, but like they're using my strap on. They've never been in a scenario where they had the opportunity. They don't know how to, put it on. They don't know how to wear a dick, and different dicks feel different, right? I have one dick that's a little floppier. So that is, and it's longer. So it's harder for people to control. Then there's one
you're just proving
with
my
a
point.
wire. Yeah, but you're making it sound hard. And when people have that story in their head, they'll be like, "Oh, it's really hard,
clunky and weird."
But I'm just letting you know.
It's not going to be.
I'm just letting you know.
That's what girls are afraid of.
I'm just letting you know that I have multiple personal experiences where I put it on them, and then they were fucking me, and they were great. So, and that's not an asshole. Like with an asshole, you really have to warm it up. It's not just about sticking it in there. But that's I think it's also great for guys to get fucked in the ass so that they know how to be gentle if they don't, like warm up the hole.
Yeah, and I say, and I'm sorry, my last thing for anal is like, whether you're the man or the woman wanting it, I think the best thing to do is actually, do it with your partner, because like so many girls are not into anal because some guy just like fucked them in the ass in 1 second, after they made out with them for 1 minute, and I'm always like, you want to know how to fuck your girl in the ass and get her into anal and make it feel good and have her really enjoy it? Fuck yourself in the ass at home by yourself, okay? And see how you like it to go. Are you going to sit down, have zero foreplay and just shove it in and start pounding? No, you're going to know exactly how to do. So whether your wife wants to do it or you want to do it, like play around on each other so because anal sex is not like you could just like start ramming somebody. There's like an art to it. And if you don't have good communication, but I think the people that have gotten fucked in the ass know how to do it because they know what they like. You know what I mean? I would always take the dick in my hand and I would control when it went in and when it went in. And I would say, okay, now harder, faster. And then you come in like 1 second. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't have a voice like that. So you really have to know. And I think the best way to know is like play with yourself. Like I said, this is one thing that everybody has.
I am so looking forward to the day. I hope it come soon where you're like,
That I fuck. So I used
oh yeah, where you're
strap
like,
it on.
Luna, I tried it.
I know. Well, I am kind of good at everything right from the beginning. I'm very athletic, so
bet
I
you
feel like
are.
I'd be good. But I think a lot of people aren't good. A lot of people aren't good at it, and I could see why it would be like clunky and weird. But yeah, I'm one of those people that feels like, oh, I wouldn't want to be in like, that. Like the guy in the scenario, right? The one with the dick and like going inside somebody. So that, like I said, I see it as like the dominant whatever. But I do know, because I've talked to so many people and I learn from my listeners, I'm much more open minded and much more open to things now from talking to people, because like so many women, like I said, have said like, oh no, like you feel this thing. And I was just had a whole kink episode on, and somebody was talking about how they were like a sub their whole life, and then they switched to a dominatrix, and she realized like, we all have both sides inside of us, and it's a wonderful thing to sort of explore both.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think sometimes we just don't I don't think I get out of my comfort zone enough, and I'm just that normal person that hasn't gone to that other place as a woman, because I do like to be more subby, but I'd probably love it too if I gave into that. Right. But I'm like so dom in my regular life that I'm like never want to do that. But I think probably I'd love
just
it.
really love holes. The other thing I want to say is it doesn't have to be a strap-on. You can fuck someone with a
Yeah.
dildo in your hand. You can fuck someone with finger.
Mhm.
With a lot of people, I only get to the knuckle massage, maybe a finger, but that's enough for some people. And so there's infinite exploration of holes to be had.
Oh yeah, the knuckle move. I did that on so many guys, and they'd always be jamming their ass
Yeah.
into it.
It's fun.
Even the ones that are like,
It's a
no,
good
don't go
gateway.
there.
Yeah. Don't go there. Give me more. Okay. Any other
Yeah.
thoughts? Ready for another question?
Yeah, just do you do all the questions this time, and then I'll
Okay.
get better ones next time. You go. You have the best questions. Yeah.
I travel for work a lot, and hookups leave me feeling more lonely than satisfied. But I hear you talking about loving variety with people. How do you create intimate but temporary experiences without feeling like a robot cycling through people are?
Oh.
Do you have thoughts?
Okay, listen, I would say like, if you're just that type of person, then you have to like, I don't know what kind of hookups this person is having when they're
Yeah.
traveling. Like, are they just like calling in a professional, or are they just going to a bar and saying, hey, let's go up? Because like, listen, I don't like to just like bang someone I don't know or have sex or whatever, but like there is a way to form a kind of connection, even short term, if that's what you need, right? But you just have to like open up, and maybe this person isn't doing enough foreplay before you're a hookup. So if you're traveling, you only have one day, I feel like you still can build a connection in one day, but maybe you need a little bit more time with that person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you're only there for 2 days, do a little bit more foreplay with the woman so you feel a little bit more connected, and then your variety hookups or one-off hookups won't feel so like detached.
Absolutely.
Because I get that. I'm that way. I like some sort of connection, but you don't have to be in love with somebody. And I think you think you could form a connection with somebody like in one day, if that's what you got, in a way that's a little bit
You know
more
that that's literally what I do all the time, especially if I'm at the ranch.
at the grocery
Yeah,
store. You're doing
and
it at the grocery
Yeah,
store.
wherever I go. But no, but I think you are absolutely spot on, and I think this question gets to the heart of the matter initially, because it's like, yes, well, what do you actually want from the hookup? It sounds like this person has had enough experiences where they're just going through the motions, however that went, and it's yielding these experiences that are not the vibe. And so I would say, look at what you're offering, look at what you're asking. I know that for me, the thing that has made casual sex like not the vibe is it felt like people were just like putting blinders on, holding their breath, and like doing body part motions, and then they wanted to be so hyper contained because of logistics, or we wouldn't see each other again, or this or that, that it's like, I'm not trying to marry you, but I still want to have an interesting human connection. And it's not very interesting
Yeah,
if it's only body parts. Like, I'll stay at home with my toys if that's all I'm looking for is a shape. And so for me,
exactly.
even when I'm at the ranch, people are like, oh, sex for money. You just take people's money. And I'm like, no, like each little chat in the bar with a stranger, or even if someone makes an appointment with me, those first 10 minutes that we have to be humans together, Is me screening, is this person a good fit to have in my energy field? Are we aligned in our
Right.
values? Like, what do I want? And this person must be LR. You got to come forward with what you actually want. So even if you're traveling for business, like it's totally possible on an app to be like, hey, I would love to take you on a great date. I would love to learn a little bit about your life, and I'm only in town for a few days, but I'd love to have a real human connection and then play. And so for me, what makes that possible is the willingness to connect, my willingness to also share about myself, and my genuine desire and curiosity to get to know the person on the other end of the fucking connection. Because like I love having sex with different people because every single human energy is completely unique and different. So I look at it as like, what will we
Right.
co-create? And I learn new stuff about sex all the time. Like, I didn't know I was gonna suck on someone's nose and like it and have them suck on my nose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these things that, we don't know could happen. And so I think leading from a place of connection, regardless of the length of time that container will last, and then being willing enough to be vulnerable to be your actual self, that makes sex way more fun. But if you're busy sort of being disassociated from each other, no wonder it feels like sad robots. Like, that's not the vibe. So I would say be genuinely curious both about the human being and their body parts and see what is the most fun and then share about yourself.
Yeah, and I'm just going to dig it one step further and psychoanalyze this guy. Like me, it's a guy, right?
I think so.
Is this a
I
guy?
think so.
This is what I'm saying. Whether it's a woman or a man, like maybe, like let's forget about the fact that, like maybe you're trying to be somebody that you're not, and maybe the feelings that you're having and the emptiness that you're feeling with this disconnected sex on your trips means that when you're not on your trips, maybe you should be looking for a
Yeah.
partner. Like maybe you're ready for something more. Maybe this isn't the right kind of sex for you anymore. And maybe your variety will be with a partner in a bedroom, like experimenting with that person. Like maybe you're just not, just because Wyo likes it and everybody else likes it, like maybe that's not where you're at
Yeah.
anymore. Like know thyself. Maybe just because it's great for everybody doesn't mean that it is for you. And heed your, like, pay attention to your feelings. If it doesn't feel good, like maybe don't. Why do you need to fuck every time you go away on vacation? Like, why don't you go take a walk in a mountain or do something else instead of having hookups with strangers? And why not start hooking up more and doing the work to maybe find a real partner that you have a real connection with, so when you go on those trips they go with you, or you don't feel that you need to go out and get the variety just because you think that's what you're supposed to.
Totally.
So that's just my psychoanalysis, that maybe there's something else going on. That's the other side of the same coin.
Absolutely. And I would even say if this person is at a place where they're like, I want connection, but I'm scared of a relationship, or they are wherever they are in their journey, that's where it's so great to find a sex positive community. They exist in most major cities, even medium sized ones. And those are people who have
Right.
meetups and munches outside of play parties. And, I feel like for work trips, people are often traveling to the same locales, even if it's for a year or two. You say you're never home in your home city, that you're probably home a few days a month. Like I am home a few days a month now and then. I've got almost a week this
Right.
time.
Uh-huh.
And so it is possible. And I know that it takes effort, especially with transitions coming and going, coming and going. And if you are seeking connection in a casual way, it can be really nice to have play friends where you grow a relationship without growing a romantic partnership, unless that's what you want. But I agree with you. It sounds like this person is wanting something more.
Yeah, even for my booty call guys, I've always have like long-term booty call
Yeah.
guys because I don't want to fuck somebody that I don't know and that I'm not friends
Yeah.
with. And I have, no feelings other than close friendship with the people that I fuck, but I know them. And to me, the sex is always going to be so much better with that person than a total stranger, because they know what I like, I know what they like, and I like to know that I'm going to be satisfied every time, And like some people don't roll that way, but it just sounds like this person maybe is a little bit different than they think. And you need to just maybe try something
Yeah.
new. Like I said, like, why do you need to fuck people every time you go away?
Totally. But I also get it. I'm
You
like,
know?
I was so disorganized in my brain and my thinking when I didn't know where sex was going to be coming from next. I would make crazy decisions. So, we're all on our journey. We're all on our journey.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm like been so in my life. I've rarely had like long term relationships, and in between the short long term relationships I did have, I always had a booty
Yeah.
call. Like I've never not had a
Yeah.
booty call. There's never been a time in my life that there wasn't one guy that was servicing me, and that person was my friend, and that was somebody that I had spun out emotionally at some point, and like you know what I mean. Like I know how to do a successful booty call. I'll never like the person. I don't feel one feeling for them. It's a service call, but it's completely satisfying. And I always have that. And so I don't ever feel the need. I don't have the need for sex really because I'm always have it if I
That's
want
great.
it, you know, so it's hard for me to
Oh, that's
understand that.
great. That's great.
Yeah. But I believe in booty calls, you know what I mean? But they have their place. They have their place, and I could do a whole episode on
I
how to have
was
a
just
successful
gonna
booty
say
call. That's
that
for
you
another
should do a
time.
whole episode on how to have a successful booty call. Like you should teach
Let's
that.
do the next one. Let's the next one because it's so I did one. I actually did one with my long-term booty call guy Tommy, who was my co-host, and you know it was a really funny episode many years ago. But I know how to. I'm not going to give it away here because my battery's going to go dead any minute, and we might have to end this. But like I say, next time we talk about booty calls, and we'll get some questions on that because I know how to have a successful one, and I know why most people fucking fail
Okay.
at them.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
And now I just want to talk about it, but I have to leave. Now I want to go off and tell you everything that I feel, but I
Okay.
can't.
Well,
I'm
we'll
going to
we'll
save
save it
it.
for a deep conversation because I feel like that's gonna be interesting.
You could say
between
so much more too, right?
Yeah. And mine's evolved so much through
Yeah.
the
I
years.
mean,
So this one says, my body image took a hit after a recent health issue, and now I dread being fully naked with someone new. What are some ways to rebuild sensual confidence when I don't believe compliments yet? See.
oof. Well, you might not. She's not going to like it. Well, okay. You know, listen, self esteem, and guys don't understand this, and even some women don't understand this, but this is very much for women. You know, self esteem is called self esteem because it comes from yourself. So no matter what anybody says to you, if you don't feel good about yourself, it's not going to change your mind, right? Like, even if you look fucking killer, if you don't feel it, your guy could tell you till he's blue in the face that you look great. And you hear it all the time. These poor guys saying, like, I love my wife. She thinks she's fat. I love her curves. She's so hot to me. I tell her all the time, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't want to fuck with the lights on. You know what I mean? And
Oh
it's
yeah.
because she doesn't feel good about herself. And until you do, that's just going to be, it's like you, it's a self-esteem because it comes from yourself. You need to get it from yourself. So to me, what I would say is like, you know, there's ways, like there are ways to get comfortable in your body that you have. And then there's also ways to take the body that you have that took a fucking knock from what you went through. And we've all been there. You can't go to the gym. You weren't eating right. You were on medication, like you gained weight, whatever. Like, and you could just turn that around by like getting like really healthy. And, you know, it's not going to, like the great thing about working out and eating healthy and getting on I don't even like to call it a diet, but just living in a healthy way and stuff is you see results. It doesn't just make you feel good. It makes you look good too. Like, you know, get a gym membership, get a trainer. In 6 months, you're going to look fucking killer. And that's going to change your brain, you know, or go like, you know, what I've heard from women that felt really not right about their bodies. You know what helped them? They went to a swinger club alone, started walking around naked, realized
Yes.
all these guys like them felt like, and just put themselves out there, did the most scariest thing, and eventually felt like amazing about themselves and completely made them feel okay with exactly who they were. Like those are the two options. So either accept where you're at now, and you have to do that by like you taking your clothes off and just like keep going there. You know what I mean? And feel, and then eventually you'll feel okay. Or getting your old body back by like, you know, listen, you could go get some work, like go to get some plastic surgery. There's so many things you could do nowadays to look better and feel better. And I'm all for those things because I think that feeling good about yourself and having good self-esteem, and especially as women, it's like fucking game changer. So I believe in doing whatever you need to do to get back in shape and get your old body back. And it's only going to make you healthier. And then you're going to feel better about yourself. And it doesn't take long, you know?
I fully agree that relying on other people's compliments to feel good is a slippery, scary slope. And I really believe in meeting
Yeah.
our own needs. And I really, really, really love for people to spend time with their bodies. So much of our world is we're in our minds, we're checked out, we're on screens, we're moving so fast, we're not even sitting with our body. And so I would say Do you have a somatic practice? Can you play a song and touch your body by yourself in front of a mirror and love it? Like, what sort of self love will work for you? Can you create a sensual experience for a bubble bath? Can you do, in addition, because, like, yes, and like, work out if that's right for you. I was raised by a family that was like, never have surgery unless you absolutely have to. So, like, but if that's,
Oh
yeah,
God.
and so,
Yeah.
depending on
Yeah.
what your needs are and what your desires are, do what makes you feel good. And I really feel like, yeah, that going to see other naked bodies, going to the spa, doing things that help you feel good in your body and just giving love. The other thing is I've had many clients of both genders come to me and be like, I don't know, I want to be with you, but I don't know, I don't feel good about my body. And so what I say to them is like, well, can you trust that I love the sensation of a body and want to make yours feel good? And I can do that regardless of how it feels. Can you let go of that fear enough for us to engage that way? I had someone just last week who had a scar and he was going to put his shirt all the way back on after his shower. And I was like, why are you doing this shirt?
Oh, poor
I was like, I
thing.
like naked. What are you doing? And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I have this scar. And I was like, can I touch it? I love it. And when he saw me accept it, he's like, oh, you don't mind? Oh, then I'll be naked.
Yeah,
And
that's
and
great.
so it's
Yeah.
also about choosing partners who will support you, not making them responsible for how you feel about yourself, right? That's the difference there. But coming from a place of within, can I meet my own need to feel beautiful? Can I let myself feel good in my body? And sometimes it's baby steps and sometimes people take leaps in one. And also I've had people do photo shoots with me. Like this was especially before the ranch, this was my huge bread and butter is like a sexy photo shoot where you feel good in or out of clothes, with a sheet on, just feeling
Yeah.
sensual from the inside out, feeling that beauty in a physical, embodied way, finding music that makes you feel good, dancing around till you feel good, and being in spaces of people who have good relationships with their body. I know that I have some friends who are in groups of friends where it's hypercritical, and then when they hang out with me, it's a different scenario. So find what feels most loving and gentle to you and allow yourself to be where you are. I know that when I can accept the things I can't change, then I feel more empowered to work on the things that are in my control.
And this is why I love my booty calls because, like, at the end of the day, women are so much more critical about our bodies than guys are. Okay, like, whenever I had like a flaw, like this is what I love my booty call guys for. I'd be like, "Oh my god, do you notice like these little wrinkles on my legs? Like when I bump," and they'd be like, "What are you talking about, Kathy?" You know what I mean? Like, and it would always like one time I thought, "Do I have beef curtains? I don't know what pussies look like." Like I was gonna be like, put myself on ratemypussy.com because I'm like, I don't even know. Like, what are and so I would always like ask my guys, and I just think sometimes like women, we're just so overly. Now, I'm not saying my advice is not like go ask a guy, but like we're way more critical about our bodies than guys are. Guys don't give a fuck about cellulite. There's not one guy that's gonna like take a girl's clothes off that has like a big ass and a tiny waist and big tits and she's got cellulite all over. Like he's not gonna be like, ew, I can't fuck her. She has cellulite. He could care less. He is hot for the shape of the body. He doesn't care. We care about those things. So you have to know that all this little stuff, and because I'm hypercritical on myself, like the littlest changes that happen,
Mm.
I notice them, but nobody else does. And you have to remember that too. Most likely you're not as bad as like somebody else who doesn't know how you were before would probably be totally into it. Go onto my Discord. Okay. Like people, like I did a pussy pick contest. Guys submitted 80,000 pics of pussies. And I was like, oh my God, I would have sent that picture of my pussy. And millions of people liked it. Like guys, guys love chicks. Like they don't care about anything. Like seriously, they're so much more forgiving than we think. Okay. So if that's what you're worried about, trust me, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
No guy's looking for perfect. No guy's looking to see if you have rolls on your stomach when he's fucking you. No, but like that's the things I'd ask my guys. Like, do you notice that? Like, they're like, no, what are you kidding? Like, no one cares. They don't care.
I totally agree that most people are way harsher on themselves than they are on other people. And if someone is that hypercritical about someone else, especially if they care about them, then they need to go to therapy and work on their shit because that usually means that they were raised by hypercritical parents and so they attack other people because they're worried that they are
I'm
terrible
sorry
and they're
if
judging
I
themselves.
had a
So,
girlfriend and she came to me and said, "Oh, my guy like saw cellulite on my legs and he wouldn't fuck me, I'd be like, I don't think he's straight. Like, I don't know one straight guy that would give a shit about that. That's like some sort of mental problem. And maybe he has an issue with sex and closeness or something, because I know for a fact it will never, like, it's the same thing. Like if a guy can't get hard for you, 99.9% of the time, it's not that anything's wrong with you. It's like something going on in their own head, So I'm sorry, no straight man is going to be like horrified by the things that you think, at the end of the day. Most of the time they know what you're working with your clothes on, and how much worse is it going to be? Like, unless you have like a tail coming out somewhere, that's like, guys are fine. They're fine. They're happy.
If someone came to me and was like,
I have a
"Hey,
tail,"
I'm into you, but I have
you'd
a
be
tail,"
like
I'm
so
nervous. I'd be like,
hot.
"Let me see. Show me now, please, Cassie."
Oh my God, I love talking to the not the norm girl.
I can't help
I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
I tried.
You'd be like,
I
fuck me
tried
with
to be
that
normal.
tail.
I
Fuck
gave
me
up.
with that tail.
I was literally the next thing I was going to say. Does it always stay flaccid, or can we wrap it around something? Or
Let me tell you, there's a show called The
does
Boys.
your tail have
There's a
bones?
show called The Boys, and then they have a spinoff called Gen Z, and it's so good. And they have like all these superheroes with these really crazy things like tails, and then they fuck them on pubic hair that kills people, and guys that have people coming out of their assholes, and tails that fuck people, and dicks that are so long they strangle people. I mean, I am always like, I would love to be in the writer's room. Like, who are these people that created this show?
How is this the
They are
first
like your
time I'm hearing about this?
These guys, they live in LA. This is your future husband, okay? The guys that have come up with this
My
shit.
future group husband and
Yes,
wife.
because let me
pod.
tell you, they are straight into it. They have the craziest shit that goes down in this show. And they have like these extras, and I watch it because I'm always like, I want to see who has this brain that thought this. And they're super interesting, and they live in LA, and you need to date them because they're so up your alley. They think of the craziest shit. And it has to do with like kind of sex and appendages and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, where did they, like, are they smoking weed to come up with this? But I don't think so. I don't know. They're just super creative.
Some
and
of us
crazy.
just have brains
Yeah.
that go wild with fantasy.
Yeah.
Wait, because like how one of my main fantasy themes is like lining stuff up and trying all
Yeah.
of it, because I want to experience
Yeah.
everything. So now I'm like, are you saying, Kathy, that I should write them a nice, convincing letter so that they each take me on some dates and then we see where it goes? I'm like,
I think you need to. I think you need to like subtly stalk them. I used to stalk, like if I made a mark, like I would mark my guys. Okay, I knew every one of my next guys before they knew they were my next guys, and I would get them. Okay, and it was straight out of like Stalker Central. Once my guy from the gym. Once I had my girlfriend. I was like, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the gym. It was like Jim from the gym, and I didn't know how old he was, and he looked kind of young. And I told my friend, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the gym. You're gonna tell me how old you think. Now, if you think he's like 25 or under, you're not gonna do anything. But if you think he's older, I'm going to have you follow him home so I could figure out where he lives, so I could like walk past his house all the time, because I live in New York City.
What?
So we get to the gym. She's like, Kathy, he's 25. I'm like, no, he's not. There's no way he's 25. He's like 35. I need you to follow him. So it didn't even work, right? So she follows him to the gym, and she follows him home from the gym, and she as she texts me, he went into the tanning salon. He went to the tanning salon, so I never got to know where he lived. And then I wound up like eventually talk, because like when I stalk someone, like I'm gonna talk to that fucking guy at the gym, and I'm gonna get him. And I got him, and I did tell him, by the way. I said, by the way, I had Courtney follow you home from the gym, and I really was hot for you, and he was so complimented. He thought it was great, So yeah, you got to
Honest
make your mark,
stalking.
and this is. Yeah. And yeah, totally. He was complimented. You got to make your mark. You got to like follow them. You got to start watching the show. You got to watch the extras, see if you think that they're hot, and then start following them on Instagram, and then hope that they listen to your show, and then DM them or something, You got to go after what you want. I mean, I've learned though that guys are the pickers. Nobody that I ever stalked and got ever like wound up to be anything more than just, fun. But I think I need to wind up with the guy that stalks me. Not me,
I was
like
gonna
making
say,
my mark.
I was going to say, how would you feel? I want to be very clear. I'm not condoning stalking here. And also,
No.
Kathy, you know how all the time when we talk, you're like, my stories are not that interesting. This is such a clear example of how your stories are so interesting.
Yeah, and there's always more. This is why I date weed heads. Yeah, there's always more. But yeah,
my
so you could get that guy. You just got to
No,
go check
I
it.
want to be in the writer's room. I'm like, I bet I think of things they don't even think of, because this is what I think about all the time.
Yes, you are literally from the same, like, if there are breeds of dogs, like you guys are the same breed of dog.
I was
like
going to say, I
guys.
can't
So
date them. They might be my like long lost siblings I didn't know I had or something. I
Yes,
don't know.
yes, they're aliens. They're aliens, just like you. Watch the show; it's so good. I really love it. Actually, I started watching it with my son, and then I was like, "Get the fuck out of the room!" Like all of a sudden, it started to get so sexual and so crazy and so good that I followed it because I love it. And then they had a spin-off Gen Z, I think, or Gen V. You should watch. Yeah, Gen V. It's really good. You'll like it. And they have the
Okay.
craziest sex stuff as superpowers that are like literally like pussy hair that kills people, dicks that strangle people, a guy that has people coming out of his asshole, like just like the funniest shit you've ever seen. Like the most.
Okay.
It's very interesting. So
I'm
anyway,
so
I don't
glad
know
you
how we
said
got
all of
onto
that.
that.
Because to bring it full circle with the body image
Yes,
stuff,
we need
what
to
you're
end,
telling
yeah.
reminds me exactly of my like longtime back burner project, the wiggle power. Where do you remember I wiggled every single day for 1,000 days? And I stopped because I went to the
No.
brothel and there was no service, and so I couldn't like wiggle
Okay.
everyday
So
life.
couldn't
And also,
wiggle again?
yeah, and then I didn't want to like
Okay.
show people where I was because I wasn't, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Let's see. But that was so that we could love all of ourselves, even the wiggly parts. And there's a whole thing that goes along with it. But we'd get superpowers once we embrace our wiggly parts. And I have since learned that like shaking and wiggling is actually a form of like animal trauma healing. Like they do it in the wild because so
Oh,
many people
interesting.
sent me articles about it. And then I'm taking this somatic tantra, etc., like super duper class right now. And so we're learning all about healing, trauma healing, all these different modalities of somatic experience. And like literally one of the cathartic tools is shaking and wiggling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, some part of me knew what I needed. And I still do wiggle every day. I haven't been
Yeah, you're
Instagramming.
good
So,
like
okay,
that. I'm too
gonna make
I'm
an
too
Instagram.
uptight for stuff like that. Like when I
love
hear
it.
you talking about it, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
but
I
if you
could
did
never.
it
But I
every
know that
day,
it's obviously no, but I know that it's like obviously it would work, right? And it is the thing, but like I don't know that I could ever go there. But I know that I could understand why it would work and how it would work. And that's my issue. Like I'm a little, I don't know, uptight, shy, not able to allow myself to let go, controlling, I don't know what the word is, but I have that problem. I can't
I
wiggle.
mean,
Not going to
I think
wiggle.
it's very funny, and or even just like watching the lips do that on screens, it makes me laugh so much. And when I have someone who's very playful, like a lover who's very playful, sometimes I get overcome with the desire to give, you either call it a belly berry or a raspberry, depending on where you're from. But like,
Oh, yeah, I do that to my
I
son.
love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I think it's
Yeah.
so silly.
Well, I'm going to send you a really fucking funny video that makes me laugh every time when I'm in a bad mood. And it's these guys singing with their tongues. It's like some sort of Irish tongue song thing that they do. And everyone's mouth and tongue movement as it pans through the guys. It's like this old video. I got to send it. It's like a
Oh my
TikTok or
gosh.
Instagram thing.
I'm
And
so
they're literally singing with their tongues flicking. You got to read the comments because the comments are all about oral sex and the memes and everything are fucking hilarious. But it's literally a line of like 100 guys singing
A
like
line?
acapella with their tongue, and everyone's mouth just gets funnier and funnier. It's the weirdest thing you've ever seen, and it's the most interesting thing you've ever seen. And I
Kathy,
just, whenever I want a good laugh, I watch it. You're gonna love it.
Can you understand how my brain that loves to think about lining stuff up and fantasizing with it is now thinking about a line of flicking tongues? Like, do you know what I just want to crawl across
Now
those mouths. I'm like, could they all sing into my pussy? Do you think they could keep singing their song while they're
Yeah. You could just go down the line. There's like 100 of them, and they're taking it very seriously, and they're dressed up in like an outfit, and they're in front of an audience, and they're doing this Irish tongue song or something. I don't know. It's like something. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. You're gonna die, and it's real. You'll love it though. I'm gonna send it to you, but my battery's gonna go dead again, so we gotta close up.
Okay. Well, how was that for you, Kathy? I feel like answering questions together is very fun. We should try it again.
Oh my God, I love it. I'm obsessed with answering questions. It's
You're
fun.
good?
I like all your questions, but you have to bring all the questions. I had boring questions that I brought to the table.
Well,
I
people
like
will
your
write us more
questions. I like
interesting
your audience questions.
I mean,
Yeah. I
have a lot
got to
of
take
thoughtful
more
ones.
time to get some questions. And listen, now that people will hear this episode, I'm going to say for my listeners, right? If you want to send in a question for me and Wow to answer, DM me on Instagram or email me strictlyanonymouspodcast@gmail.com. And then Wow, you tell your audience how to get in touch with you.
I love messages through sexstoriespodcast.com. That's my favorite. That is the podcast. We're just going to keep that name in spite of censorship for now. Sexstoriespodcast.com. And you can also share a voice memo if you want. So either way, we can use
perfect.
your
Yeah.
voice. But I like written messages. A lot of people are shy, but I'm into voice memos if you want to share one.
All right. Well, listen, Luna, this was super fun. I think I called you your other name 10
That's
times,
okay.
but
All the
this was
names are
super
all the
fun.
names are welcome.
All right. Well, thanks for having all the questions, and I'll bring some next time. And let's definitely do it again because this was super fun and interesting.
So much fun. Definitely, let's do it again. All right. Talk soon.
All right. Awesome.
Lovely humans. That is our show. Remember to follow your hearts and follow your parts and follow me on the internet for links to all the things: podcast guest submissions, photo sessions, creative coaching, or to wander deeper down my internet rabbit holes. Head to sexstoriespodcast.com and lunarabi.com. Support the show and get ad-free episodes and access to the community live streams at patreon.com/howtowoo. To go deeper, see my exclusive self-portraits, masturbation, meditation, sensation, explorations of edging, or to tell me your most personal pleasures, thoughts, and feelings, maybe you even show me, join me on OnlyFans. Links are in the description below. Remember to tell a friend, leave a review, heart, or thumbs up this show wherever you're listening. It helps us grow, and you know I love watching things grow. Please, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, let me know how you're spreading ripples of love, and remember to share sex stories.